Hi everyone. Okay, so this is like no joke my 6th time shooting this because I shot this video and literally it was 17 minutes long and my iPad wouldn't let me upload it because it said it was too long, so I gotta try to get this out as quickly as possible. My camera's doing something funky. Okay, so let me just go ahead and get into this. It is February 11th, Tuesday night, and I am coming to you with another tag video. It is the 10 most influential books tag, which was a kind of hard tag for me because to me, a book that is influential should be a book that like really Deep Space Nine impacted your life. And I could only really come up with about 5 books that I felt like fit that category, but I was able to pick 10 that I'm comfortable with. And I originally saw this tag on Rincey Reads channel. I love Rincey Reads channel. Please go check her out. I will include a link to the original video down in the bottom. I love her videos because she is very cut and dry. She gets on camera, she talks about the books, not a whole lot of fluff and a whole lot of extra stuff. You can just tell that she's just one of those kinds of people that she loves doing these videos and loves talking about books, and that's why she's here. And I appreciate people that are like that, you know, and they're just not trying to get, you know, likes and whatever and things. You know, she's here because she has a love of reading and she loves books. And so check her channel out. She's amazing. I like the tag. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. And nobody tagged me. I tagged myself because I'm gangsta. So let's get into this. These books are in no particular order. I'm going to try to get this out, but honestly, you guys know I talk so much. This is so hard for me. So hopefully I can shorten this so that I can actually upload it, and we'll see. Alright, so the first book that I'm going to talk about is A Painted House by John Grisham. This book isn't necessarily influential per se, but I am a super huge John Grisham fan. I have read 13 of his, I don't know how many novels he's done. I know it's more than 20, but I've read 13 of them. And I would have to say that this one is my favorite of the 13 that I have read, which is ironic because most of his novels are about law, litigation, trials, things of that nature, and for a long time, this was the only book that he had written that wasn't about a subject like that. And I love this book. It's kind of like a To Kill a Mockingbird type of story. It's about a young boy growing up on a farmhouse with his family, and it's kind of like, sort of like a coming of age story, kind of, sort of, but not quite. But it's just a really good book, and I really love this book, and it's just my favorite of the John Grisham books, and so that's why I included it in this list. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Eat, Shoots, and Leaves, which is actually kind of funny because I have not finished this book. So I've only gotten about halfway through it, but I do plan on finishing this book. But I absolutely love this book. It's Eat, Shoot, and Leaves by Lynn Truss, and it is a book about grammar, and I'm a super huge grammar Nazi. And so there were so many parts of this book that I read, and I was like, yes, like finally somebody understands me because she's a grammar Nazi too. And who would have thought that a book about grammar could be so entertaining? This book is amazing. Like, seriously, it's so entertaining. It's super funny. It's a great book, and it's just nice to have a grammar refresher because of having been out of school for such a long time and not having to write papers and things like that. You know, it's nice to be refreshed about grammar, especially in this day and age of these horribly written Facebook statuses and Twitter updates and all that stuff like that. And sometimes I just look at people and go, how did you graduate? Your writing is awful. So, anyways, I love this book. This book is definitely for the grammar Nazi in us all. Okay, so the next book that I am going to talk about is the Knitting Answer book by Margaret Radcliffe. I love this book. I carry it everywhere with me when I'm bringing my knitting somewhere. If I have a problem with a project that I'm working on, I can 9 times out of 10 look it up in this book and find out the solution. And it's actually kind of a funny story because my friend got me this book for my birthday, and I didn't even knit. Like, I didn't know how to knit, but she didn't know the difference between crochet and knitting. I knew how to crochet. She had seen me crochet, but she got me a whole bunch of knitting stuff. And so that's actually what got me into knitting, and this is such an invaluable reference. I use this book all the time. I carry it with me in my knitting bag everywhere. It's great. I feel like every knitter should have this, and it's so compact that you really can take it with you with your knitting. It's a wonderful knitting resource. So yes, that made my list. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. This is so funny to me. I have seen so many BookTube videos, and no one ever talks about this book, which surprises the crap out of me because this book is amazing. If you don't read or get any other book that I talk about in this video, get this one. This book is so good, and I'll give you a brief synopsis. It's basically about this guy, and he is developmentally disabled. And they develop this medicine that makes him get smarter. And so he goes from probably having the IQ of like a 8-year-old as a grown man to being like Einstein genius. And this book is actually comprised of journal entries that he's supposed to keep a journal as he's taking the medicine. And so you get to watch the mental intelligence progression as he's writing. And so he starts writing and he writes like a little kid. He writes like something like my, 7-year-old son would write. And then as it goes on, has his vocabulary builds, his grammar builds, his spelling builds. He begins to comprehend these much more complex concepts. And so you're reading the mental progression of this character in this book. And it's such a good book. I mean, it made me weep, 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 cry. It's an amazing, amazing read. I read it in 4th grade. And it stayed with me all my life. So this is a great, great book. Flowers for Algernon. Please pick it up and read it because it's excellent. The next book that I'm going to talk about is actually kind of funny. It is The Proper Care and Feeding of Husbands by Dr. Schlessinger. Now, this is actually an influential book. This book actually, I feel like it changed my life. Because I feel like with the whole feminist movement and all that stuff like that, that we've kind of lost the art and the magic of catering to our husbands because we reject the notion of feeling like as women we're supposed to be subservient to our men. And I'm not one of those women that kind of feel that way. I mean, I don't feel like, you should be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. But I do feel like if you have a decent husband and he takes good care of you and he's good to you, then you should show appreciation for that. And this is probably a very polarizing book for a lot of people. You either love it or you hate it. And Dr. Laura is a very polarizing figure. You either love her or you hate her. I'm one of those people that I do like Dr. Laura, although I do feel like sometimes she can be a little bit of a jerk. But I do like Dr. Laura a whole lot. And I really, really, really love this book. And so, hold on, my kids just interrupted me. Yes, how can I help you, Vivian?
I'm just asking if I want a big blanket.
Vivian, you got a blanket on your bed. Here, it's bedtime. Bedtime for bonzos. Heads in beds. Heads in beds. Close the door, go to bed. I'm telling you, never a dull moment around this house. Good night, baby. All right, we moving right along. So, what was I talking about? The Private Carefui Husbands by Dr. Schlessinger. I love, love, love this book. It's just a good book, honestly. So you can feel how you want to feel, talk about, feminism and all that stuff like that. But I've been married for 10 years, happily. Dr. Laura, one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Laura when she talks about relationships is to choose wisely, treat kindly, and I really try to put that into practice in my marriage. And so this book is a tremendous, tremendous resource. If you need to know how to take care of your husband, I dropped it. Read this book because it's really good. I love this book. So say what you want to say about me. Whatever. I'm a sellout. I love the book. All right, so the next book that I'm going to talk about is To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, this is my favorite novel of all time. I'm not really going to go a whole lot into this except to just say that I love, love, love this book. I've talked about it in countless other videos. I've read it 7 times. Every time they meet Boo Radley, I weep crying. Even though I know they're going to meet him, I still cry because this book has just affected me so. And I love this book. I love, 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 love this book. I just cannot say enough good things about that book. If you haven't read it, I don't know what rock you've been under, but you need to crawl out from under and read it. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Zora and Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Were Watching God. I love this book so much, so much. I love her writing. I love Janie. I feel like if Janie was like a real person, that we would be friends, and we would be best friends, and we would braid each other's hair and sing Kumbaya. Because there's so many things about Janie that remind me of me. And but I think the thing that I like about this book the most is Janie's relationship with Tea Cake, because I feel like it mirrors my relationship with my husband, because you could just tell that when Janie and Tea Cake were together that they had such a good time with one another and they just enjoyed each other's company so much. And I feel like that's the way me and my husband are. We just enjoy being in each other's company, and it doesn't matter if we're doing something as silly as picking beans, we're gonna have a good time with each other because we love each other so much. And so I definitely identified with Janie and Tea Cake as a couple, and I love, love, love this book. So excellent book. The next book that I'm going to talk about, hold on, y'all gonna have to deal with my big face being in the camera. But I'm really trying to get this done. Let's see where we're at right now. We're at 9 minutes and 44 seconds, so hopefully I can hurry up and get this out. Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. This is the 30th anniversary special edition. My husband got this for me for my birthday or something like that because he's awesome. And I have loved this book ever since I was a little kid. And so most of you, I'm pretty sure you know what this book is. But if you don't, it is a book of these really silly children's poems and illustrations all done by Shel Silverstein. And I should have done my due diligence and looked up what my favorite poem is. And I know what it is, but I don't know the name of it. But still, I really, really love this book. And I just have to show you the horror that is having children, okay, because this is what my daughter decided to do to this book. And that isn't even the only page that looks like that. There's like several pages that she just, I mean, she went apeshit on this book, okay, seriously. Like, I was like, girl, like, do you have a personal vendetta against Shel Silverstein? Because, you just took it all out on my book and broke my little heart, okay? My sons were like, ooh, mommy gonna get you, because they know how to play when I come to my books. Yeah, but Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Love, love, love that book. It's a great book. Even as an adult, I still love the little poems so much. These next books are a cheat because it's 2 books instead of 1, but I just could not mention the one book without mentioning the other, and it is Face Forward by Kevyn Aucoin and Making Faces by Kevyn Aucoin. I love, love, love makeup. I'm super into makeup. I've done makeup for weddings. I've done makeup for photo shoots, fashion shows, all kinds of things. And so I love makeup, and when I was first getting into makeup, I purchased these 2 books used from Amazon. Kevyn Aucoin was a very, very prominent makeup artist in the 90s. He was like the makeup artist in the 90s, but sadly he passed away. But he did these 2 books, and even though makeup trends change and the things that we do with makeup changes, I feel like these books are just invaluable references. They'll always be current. They'll always be it's kind of, these little books are like the Coco Chanel of of makeup books, and so they're just an invaluable makeup reference, and the pictures are beautiful. They really are, and it's just an interesting read. And so if you're into makeup, these are definitely 2 books that you should have in your makeup library. Matter of fact, I think these are the only 2 makeup books that I have in my makeup library, but I love, love, love these books so much. So yeah, Kevyn Aucoin, Making Faces, and Face Forward. Great, great, great books. Excellent. And the last book that I'm going to talk about, it's not the last book because I intentionally made it the last book. It's just the last book that I grabbed. And that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Maybe not necessarily this particular book. This isn't my favorite book in the series, but this is the first book in the series. And so basically just the series. I love Harry Potter so much, and so much so to the point that when I was reading the Harry Potter wasn't even a book to me, it was a person. When I would ask my husband, we had this little joke, this running gag, because while I was reading the Harry Potter series, he was reading the Hunger Games series, and so I would say that he's having an affair with Katniss Everdeen, and then he would say that I'm having an affair with Harry Potter, because I would talk about Harry like he was a real person. I would ask my husband, like, hey, have you seen Harry today? Do you know where Harry is? Like, that's when I would talk about it or ask him where my book was. I'd actually ask about it like it was a person. But I love these books so much because J.K. Rowling has just this knack for making you care about the characters. Those characters, the people in those books, they really became my flesh and blood. When they were mad, I was angry when things happened to them. I mean, there was like one part of this book I remember, it was so funny. I read it. Harry made me so mad. I put the book down and got up, and I was like, I gotta get up and walk away from this book right now because I'm gonna throw it through a window. That's just how much these books like got down into my system. I mean, they made me weep. They made me cry. They made me happy. I remember being outside and jumping up and down because Harry won like the Quidditch Cup or something like that. And I was jumping up and down, whooping and hollering outside because Harry won the Quidditch Cup. That's just how like deep down into you these books get. And I think the thing that I love about these books so much is they just united so many people. Old people, young people, rich, poor, black, white. I mean, there's just I have old ladies at my church that'll be like, oh my gosh, you're reading Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. Like, you know. They just, you know, Harry Potter books, they're just great. I mean, there's just not really, I can't really add a whole lot more to the Harry Potter, you know, a discussion about Harry Potter that hasn't already been said. They're tremendous books. If you haven't read them, you really should, because they're so good. And I know that I'll definitely be reading the series again because they're just great. So those are my books. This video is 14 minutes and 28 seconds long, so I've got to stop, but I cut 3 minutes off of this, so actually, I'm feeling pretty nice. You guys have a great night. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you stuck through to the end, you are a rock star. I love you. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace in the Middle East. Bye-bye now.